So you've bought a gun, you're interested in getting better, so you do the right thing and you sign up for a class. So, do you know how to prepare for the class and how to organize yourself ahead of time? We're going to answer that for you today. How you prepare yourself before a class is very important to help dictate what your experience is going to be like when you go to train. And it starts way sooner than you think it probably should. So, you found the class that you want to go take, and what's the first thing you need to do? So the first thing you want to do before you even sign up for the class, make sure you go over the class's gear list or pack list. If there's any section in the pack list of recommendations to make your experience better, I would highly consider that because those are written from people with experience. So you've read your packing list, you've signed up for the class, it's 3 weeks out. It's about time for you to double check your ammo count and make sure that you have the required amount of ammunition for the class. And if you don't, place your order now. It takes time for things to ship and to arrive or for your local retailer to restock. So make sure you have your supplies squared away long before the class is even on your radar. Next, I would go ahead and double check your gear and make sure that it is indeed compatible with whatever the class is going to be requiring or the activities you're going to be doing for the class itself. The main focus really is going to be your belt and your holster. There's a lot of training programs, ours included, that if you show up with the wrong holster, we can't train with you. It's a safety liability. And as far as the belt is concerned, if you have the appropriate belt, it'll make your experience way better because you're not going to be dealing with hip and back pain all day. The next thing to look at 3 weeks out is going to be your general scheduling or your life plans. Do you need to figure out a schedule for a babysitter? Do you need to do something with your wife or your significant other? Figure that out now to where the week or the night before the class, you're not getting yelled at for planning poorly. That comes from experience. That's me talking to you. I mean, look, we've all made these mistakes. I'm not singling anybody out. These are just things to help you have a better time. So fast forward the clock. Your class is 1 week away and you're really getting excited. You begin feeling the nerves for it. Now is the time for you to shake down your gear, put on your belt, put on your holster if you haven't already, and just work through some dry fire and get used to walking around and having it on your person. Taking a class with brand new equipment or a brand new gun is not the worst idea. It's really not. My biggest recommendation is don't make your first time interacting with this equipment the class. You want to have that squared away long before to where you can start growing and learning immediately. I would highly recommend at this point in time, get to your local range like ours here at Georgia Firing Line and zero your gun, whether it's a long gun or a handgun. This includes iron sights. Iron sights have to be zeroed as well. Just fire a confirmation zero at a target. It doesn't take a whole lot of rounds. Usually 5 or 10 is plenty. And if you need to make any tweaks or adjustments, do it now to where, again, you show up prepared ahead of time. Those dudes get cookies. So I generally recommend keeping a dry fire schedule or a live fire schedule that revolves around that 72-hour process. What you're going to find is there's a whole lot less rust to get shook off before you start going full throttle and performing well. If you keep that recency of 72 hours up and running, you'll have a wonderful time. At the 1 week mark, 1 week before your class, you should really adhere to that and keep that dry fire running every 72 hours to where you're warm and ready to go when you arrive on site. Now, my favorite part, the night before. If you're like me, you kind of get the nerves, you have a hard time sleeping, and it's a thing that'll happen, but we're not going to get into that. What we are going to get into is staging your gear. Put everything you need together in the same place and keep it close to the door. I never recommend, ever, keeping your equipment in your vehicle overnight. I don't recommend doing that ever. Why? Because people steal things out of cars and guns are expensive. Take this opportunity to double check your pack list. While you're staging everything, did you remember your ear pro? Did you remember your eye pro? Those are the things that are most commonly left behind. If you're training outdoors, did you bring sunscreen? If you're bald like me, bring sunscreen. It'll make it way better for you. And then the final thing, before you go to bed to try to get whatever sleep you can because you're so excited, it's time to verify your alarms. Now this may seem like a basic concept to any reasonable adult, but double checking and verifying your alarm is the best way for you to guarantee you're where you need to be on time. I'm speaking to my military guys. And if you're traveling somewhat locally, like your driving distance, I would recommend budgeting your time with about 45 minutes to an hour earlier than you should be there. This gives you time to stop and get a coffee and get some breakfast and pick up things that you may need like batteries on the way to the range or to the property. And generally speaking, from a coach's perspective, when students arrive early, it makes everything way more organized. Now, you don't have to be multiple hours early. Sometimes that's too much and the property won't even be open in time. But if you're 45 minutes to an hour early, you're pretty safe there. The only thing left is to show up, keep an open mind, enjoy your time training, and enjoy the company of those around you. So I hope this helps serve as a general guideline of how to get the best experience out of your class or your match or anything in the shooting community that you're going to be taking part in. And that's what this whole thing's about. Building a community, getting involved with something, and getting better in a skill that is life-changing as well as life-saving. This is the part where I remind you that if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're a friendly group here at Georgia Firing Line, and we're happy to get you guys started in anything you need, be it training, gear, or anything in between. Reach out to us via the link tree. Everything you need to find us is right there in front of you. My name is Getty. Be safe.